This one's for every single person out there, right now, who's fighting their battles completely alone. Yeah, you're the one carrying the weight with no one else around to help shoulder it. To everyone walking this path solo, to the ones who've had to push forward when the road felt empty, dark, and endless. Those who fly alone, they grow the strongest wings that don't just carry them, but let them soar higher than anyone who's always had a flock to lean on. Those who walk alone, they develop the sharpest, clearest sense of direction because there's no crowd noise, no conflicting opinions, just the quiet truth of their own compass pointing the way. I'm not saying you have to isolate yourself forever to become strong. That's not the point. This isn't about choosing loneliness as a lifestyle. This is straight up for the people who've already lived it, who've had no choice but to fight every round by themselves. The ones who've felt like outsiders their whole lives, like they never quite belonged in the group photo. The dreamers who shared their big visions and got blank stares, awkward silences, or straight up laughter in return. The ones who've never had a single person in their corner, no hype team, no safety net, no "I believe in you" when doubt was screaming loudest. You know the feeling all too well. You've stood in a packed room and still felt completely invisible. You've poured your heart into something, a goal, a hustle, a relationship, a comeback, and watched everyone else get the support while you got crickets. No one showed up when you were down on your knees. No text checking in. No call saying, "Hey, you okay?" You had to be your own rescuer, your own motivator, your own proof that it's possible. You've cried in the dark where no one could see. You've prayed alone in the middle of the night when the world was asleep. You've stared at the ceiling wondering if anyone would even notice if you quit. You've dragged yourself out of bed on mornings when every muscle screamed, "Give up." And you did it anyway because quitting wasn't an option, even if no one else was watching. But here's the raw, beautiful truth that comes from all of that. The loneliest roads, the ones with no companions, no applause, no shortcuts, are the exact ones that carve the deepest character into you. They teach you resilience that can't be faked. They build grit that doesn't crack under pressure. They forge an inner strength so solid that when the storms hit later, you don't just survive, you stand taller. Every silent struggle you've endured alone has been quietly turning you into someone unbreakable. Every time you picked yourself up without a hand to grab, you added another layer of steel to your spine. Every doubt you silenced on your own made your belief in yourself louder and more unshakable. Think about someone who lived this exact truth. J.K. Rowling. Back in the mid-90s, she was a single mom, freshly divorced, living on government benefits in a tiny apartment in Edinburgh. She was so broke she couldn't even afford heat sometimes, and she'd bundle up her baby daughter and head to the nearest cafe just to write because it was warmer there, and they let her stay for hours on one cup of coffee. She'd been through hell, losing her mom young, a failed marriage, clinical depression that had her contemplating suicide at her lowest. She had no rich family backing her, no industry connections, no one telling her, "You've got this." In fact, she was rejected by 12 publishers, who said kids wouldn't read long fantasy books, or that her story wasn't marketable. But she kept typing alone, in silence, fueled only by her own stubborn belief in the world she was creating. One small publisher finally took a chance because their CEO's young daughter loved the first chapters. That book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, it became a global phenomenon, sold over 500 million copies, and turned her into one of the most successful authors ever. But the real magic wasn't the fame, it was the proof that when you fight alone, when you refuse to quit even when the world says no, you build something unstoppable. So don't ever be scared to stand alone. Don't hesitate when the path ahead looks empty. Don't second-guess yourself just because no one else is walking beside you right now. That solitude, it's not a curse, it's your forge. It's where the real power gets hammered into shape. You don't need a cheering section to be legendary. You don't need validation from the crowd to know your worth. Tune out the doubters, the critics, the people who say, "That's impossible," or "You're on your own with this." Listen harder to the voice inside, the one that's been with you through every low, every win, every quiet victory no one else saw. That voice knows the truth. It's been there all along, no matter how pitch black the trail gets, no matter how heavy the silence feels, no matter how many times you wonder if you're crazy for keeping going. If this road is leading you toward the life, the purpose, the dream you were built for, then keep walking. Even if it's just you and the sound of your own footsteps. This message is for you, the one grinding in the quiet right now, the one who's been carrying it all solo for way too long. You're not weak for being alone. You're becoming unstoppable because of it. You're not lost, you're being refined. Every step you take by yourself is proof you're tougher, wiser, and more capable than most people will ever understand. Stay in the fight. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. The strongest, most unbreakable version of you is being born right here, in these solitary moments. And when the right people finally show up, because they will, they won't find someone who needs saving. They'll find a warrior who learned how to save themselves. You've got this, even when it feels like the whole world forgot you never did. And that's more than enough. Keep going. You were made for this.